The Berenstain Bears don't pollute anymore. Save the earth. So this kind of fits in with the recycling thing. And so you want to take care of the earth. And it also fits in with Earth Day, which was on Wednesday. It says when Bear Country's cubs learn pollution's a fact, they help grown-ups to clean up their act. Well, looky here, said Papa Bear as he opened the evening news. Your friend, Professor Actual Factual's got his picture in the paper. Oh, said Brother and Sister Bear, coming to see. There's a big story, too, said Papa, and a headline. Oh, my goodness, said Mother Bear. What's it about? Leading scientist claims Bear Country is in serious trouble, he said, reading the headline. What sort of trouble? Asked Sister. I wonder what the problem is. Papa, who was reading the story to himself, didn't answer. What sort of trouble? Asked Mama, repeating Sister's question. Oh, you know how professors are, he said. Actual Factual is making a big fuss about pollution. Well, I know how Actual Factual is, said Mama, and I think he's quite sensible. So do I, said Sister. Me too, agreed Brother. Oh, he's a great guy, all right, said Papa. He's dug up some terrific dinosaur bones, and he runs a great museum. But I happen to think he's gone a little overboard on this pollution thing. I'm as much against pollution as the next fellow, he continued. I just don't think a couple of candy wrappers and drinking cups along the side of the road is the end of the world. I wonder if it's more to it than that. Let's find out. Besides, Bear Country is in great shape. Come on, I'll show you. He opened the door and led the family out onto the front stoop. You see, Bear Country is not only in good shape, it's downright beautiful. The rolling hills, the forests, the lakes, the streams, and just look at that sunset. It's beautiful, all right, agreed Brother, but our science book says that some of those colors are caused by chemicals in the air that shouldn't be there. Piffle, said Papa. Say, aren't you two supposed to be doing your homework? Papa doesn't look too excited about that. Sister, who had just about completed her homework, finished quickly, but Brother Bear was stuck. Teacher Bob had asked him to do a report on endangered species. The book he had taken out of the school library wasn't very helpful. Of course, the kind of shape Bear Country was in wasn't as simple as Papa Bear made it seem. How Bear Country looked depended on your point of view. It looked fine from the Bear family's front stoop. It looked even better if you had a bird's eye view while flying high above the earth. But if you had a squirrel's eye view and were finding fewer and fewer acorns because too many trees were being cut down, Bear Country didn't look so fine. If you had a duck's eye view, you might think the professor was right about pollution. And if you had a fish's eye view, you might think things were downright awful. A lot of garbage in that water. The next day, Brother decided to visit the museum to ask Professor Actual Factual to help with his endangered species report. Sister Bear went with him. Professor Actual Factual was usually cheerful and friendly and bubbling over with ideas and projects when the cubs visited, but this time he looked worried and glum. He cheered up a bit when he saw them, but when Brother told him the purpose of his visit, to get help on a report about endangered species, he said something very surprising. I'll tell you the endangered species to do your report on. Us. Ooh. That sounds kind of scary. Check out the dinosaur, though. Isn't that cool? We don't understand, they said. It's very simple, explained the professor. We bears and all other creatures need certain things to live. Clean air to breathe, pure water to drink, and good soil to grow food in. If we don't do something about pollution, we're all going to become endangered species. Come, he said. You'll understand soon enough. He led them out to where the Actual Factual mobile was parked. It was a special van with all kinds of scientific gear in it. Doesn't that look cool? I think I'd like a ride in that van. Then the professor took Brother and Sister on the Bear Country tour they soon wouldn't forget. They went past Grizzly Gus's garage where they saw oil leaking into a stream getting on a duck and killing some fish. They went past the old box factory where they saw ugly black smoke pouring out into the air. And they scuba dived into Great Bear Lake where they saw everything from soda cans to rusty bed springs and worse. They saw a fish tangled in a plastic soda can holder. They cut it loose, but they couldn't rescue all the fish from all the plastic holders carelessly thrown away. I think those are illegal now, but I'm not for sure on that. That would be a good thing to make illegal. Or you should cut them before you put them in the recycling or the trash. They drove through the forest and saw that a great many trees had been cut down and that not many new trees had been planted to replace them. You might speak to your dad about that, said the professor. He and his fellow woods bears could help with that problem. I think I see what you mean about becoming an endangered species, said Brother when they got back to the museum. Yes, agreed Sister, but what are we going to do about it? Did that evening news story do much good, asked Brother. Not much, said the professor. The idea that bear country is in serious trouble because of pollution seems to be hard to get across. To grown-ups, maybe, said Sister, but we understand, and we and all our cub friends will too, because we're the ones who will have to live in a messed up, polluted earth when we grow up. Professor, said Brother, how does this sound? You come to our school and explain all about pollution to the cubs of bear country. Maybe we can do something about it. Actual Factual was impressed. I'll give Teacher Bob a call right away and arrange it, he said. And that's what happened. The cubs were all eyes and ears as Actual Factual told them about the trouble bear country was getting into. First, he taught them 3 important new words: ecology, conservation, and recycle. The way the professor explained it, ecology means how the creatures, the plants, and the earth itself work together. Conservation means not wasting the valuable things of the earth, like water, oil, wood, and metal. And recycle means finding ways to use some of those valuable things over and over again. So this is where the recycling part comes into this book. The cubs learned quite a lot from Actual Factual, and they had some ideas of their own too. How about a recycling program, suggested one cub. Maybe for newspapers to start, added another, and then if it works, for cans and bottles too. Tim Honeypot said he'd talked to his dad, Mayor Honeypot, about it. Brother Bear remembered Grizzly Gus's garage. You shouldn't be allowed to spill oil into streams and kill fish, he said. Babs Bruno, whose dad was the chief of police, said, I'll talk to my dad. If there isn't a law against it, there ought to be. Even Too Tall helped with an idea. My uncle owns a super-duper market. He could put in a bag return plan for reusing bags. Excellent suggestion, said the professor. And if some folks don't want to cooperate, said Too Tall, me and the gang can lean on him a little. The bag return is fine, Too Tall, said Teacher Bob, but no leaning. We want people to want to do the right thing. Cousin Freddie had the best idea of all. Let's start a club to stop pollution and call it the Earth Savers Club. We'll make posters and bumper stickers and have cleanups and marches and parades. But there was still the problem of Papa and his fellow woods bears. That evening, Brother and Sister told Mama and Papa about the Earth Savers Club and all the plans for stopping pollution. Mama was very impressed. Papa was too. As I said before, I'm just as much against pollution as the next fellow. But when the cubs asked him to be sure that he and his fellow woods bears plant a new tree for everyone they cut down, he got a little grumpy. Humph, he grumped. It's hard enough to cut trees down without having to plant them as well. Besides, what's all the fuss about? They're just trees. My dear, said Mama, the cubs are right. The forest is a living thing and deserves respect. Papa was about to say piffle, but thought better of it. Problem is, if he doesn't plant any more trees, then he's not going to have any to cut down in a while. The problem of conserving the forest must have been on his mind, because that night he had a dream. In the dream, he was walking about the forest to cut wood when the trees began to sway and wave their branches. The branches turned into reaching, grasping arms. Then the trees climbed out of the earth and on their roots and started chasing him. Help! Cried terrified Papa in his sleep. The trees! They're after me! And he woke up in a cold sweat. Ooh, that does look kind of scary. Having a nightmare? Asked Ma. It must have been something I ate, he said. Or something you heard, perhaps, he said. About trees? Piffle, he said, and turned over to try to get back to sleep. But it wasn't going to be easy. The cubs didn't expect to solve all the bear country's pollution problems, but the Earth Savers Club made a good start. The mayor declared a special holiday called Earth Savers Day, and the Cubs had a big parade. Brother and sister marched at the head of the parade with Professor Actual Factual. Says Cubs for clean lakes and streams. Every litter bit helps, or hurts. Every litter bit hurts. And so you want to help. Be aware, be a conservation bear. Pollution is a fact, so clean up your act. Recycle now. Help save the trees, be a super duper bag returner, or else. A lot of cool signs they had there. There were many grown-ups in the parade too, including Papa Bear, who carried a sign that did not say piffle. It said, "A good woods bear plants a tree for every single one he cuts. No ifs, no ands, no maybes, or buts." The end. So today, now that you're done reading that, you want to look in your packet, and if you find this paper, you're on the right track. You want to color this. It says, "Take care of our planet, turn off the lights." And so when you're done coloring, you want to make the world the right color. That this part is the water, and so that's blue, and this part is the land, so that's green. And then you can color the guy look any color you want, and his dog. And then you want to have your parent cut the rectangle out of the middle, and then you can put this over the light switch in your room so that you remember to turn off the lights. And you can take a picture of it on your light switch for me. Then this one you need to return to school, and you can work at it with your parents. What can you make out of a glass bottle? And they say new floor tiles. Ooh, how about a newspaper? What can you make out of a new newspaper? Or an old newspaper? You're right, a new newspaper. An empty steel can? Ooh, what do you think? A new soda can? How about a cardboard box? Yep, a new cereal box. And a used aluminum can would be... The used aluminum can goes with this. The metal frame goes with the bike, or the steel can. And then the used plastic soda bottle can make a jacket. Isn't that crazy? So you want to draw a line to connect those. And then on the back, so can you get these new or are they recycled? Think about it. Can you get all these things? So you want to color the ones that you can get that can be made from recycled products. So think about it and color the ones. And then this paper needs to come back to me. Okay? You also have a whole bunch more papers in your packet. And so then you can color this picture. And then the next page is a doorknob hanger and a light switch one. And this one goes in your bathroom, so reminding you to turn off the water. Then there's a whole bunch of ideas on what you can do to recycle and reduce pollution. And there's more on the back. There's a lot of them. So a lot of ideas. And this is the recycling guidelines. And that tells you all about what you can recycle. And this is good for Morton Grove, because this is by the Solid Waste Agency of Northern Cook County. And they have a whole bunch of information here. And some games. And more games. And then this has your name on it. It says this certifies that, and then put your name in there, is helping to make the world a better place and is a friend of the earth. I think I wrote your name in there, and so you have one of these. So you are helping save the earth. So all of these extra ones are optional. All these are optional, but you need to do this, both sides, and this one. Okay.